Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. So for this video, we're going to be checking out a very affordable alternative to a Tudor Black Bay 58 GMT, and that is with this Addiesdive Divers GMT. The specific model number, as well as a link to the Addiesdive website and Amazon page, will be provided in the description of this video. And I also want to mention, to be fully transparent, that they supplied this watch for the review, but I don't have to return it afterwards. That being said, no money changed hands, and they did not see this video before you guys did. Now, if you're not familiar with Addiesdive, they are based in China, and a lot of their design language does homage very current Swiss-made watches that are currently on the market, and they keep it very affordable while doing that. So you can routinely buy this watch for around 150 Canadian dollars. That's without any discount codes at all. If I do have a discount code, I'll give you one, but there's frequent sales on their website too. Similar to the Black Bay 58, you're getting a 39mm case diameter. This watch is done in 316L stainless steel. And again, the finishing and design of the case and bracelet can resemble some of the stuff that Tudor puts out. If you take a look at the side profile here, lug to lug between my thumbs comes in at 48 millimeters. I do measure the total thickness at 14.1 millimeters from the bottom of that screw down case back with the Addiesdive logo to the top of a boxed mineral crystal that has anti-reflective treatment on the underside. Now, even though this is an affordable watch, they probably could have sprung for a sapphire crystal, but the AR treatment and viewing angles by the mineral crystal here is actually quite good, so I'm not overly disappointed when you factor in the price. The bracelet sits between an even 20mm lug opening, and the head of the bracelet that has a solid end link to it is 20mm, tapering nicely to about 15.5mm before you do hit the Addiesdive signed clasp. The clasp itself has 5 micro adjustment anchoring positions, as well as a twin trigger release and a milled out swing arm section here. And it's actually nicely finished too. You got a nice polished bevel to the side, very crisp printing for the Addiesdive logo. And the bracelet's also pretty good and solid for the price point. They're held in place by those friction split collar pins, so you just have to punch them out in one direction to remove links and then resize. But the articulation, very, very good. You can just kind of see how it just completely drapes over the case back, and it aids in the overall comfort when wearing this timepiece. And here's a quick in-studio wrist shot of this Divers GMT on a 7.5-inch wrist for reference, or 19 centimeters in circumference if you use the metric system. It does have some nice wrist presence to it. I do think that the case has some heft, and the thickness kind of makes it feel a little more premium than the price you're actually going to pay for this particular watch. So taking a look at the dial side of this watch, again, layout very similar to a Black Bay GMT, in particular the opaline colorway. It's a very nice off-white color that they were able to achieve here. You got those traditional Tudor style snowflake hands, as well as applied hour markers and then a date cutout at the 3 o'clock position. I actually think that all of the printing for the Addiesdive logo and text, as well as the date wheel and the outer minute track, is done very well. It's actually quite crisp for a sub $200 timepiece. The GMT hand is a nice red color to differentiate it from the rest of the hand stack, and then GMT is also printed in red. Outboard of the dial, you do have an anodized aluminum 24-hour bezel that is split up between blue and red to denote night and during the day. The bezel itself is a coin edge style 120 click unidirectional bezel. It's got some springy action. It's actually a little bit difficult to grip with my sausagey fingers, and I actually do wish that this was a bi-directional bezel for the GMT function, but obviously they are keeping the costs down. Another way they are keeping costs down is by leveraging a quartz Ronda 515.24H GMT movement instead of like using an automatic Seiko NH series of movements. It is actually pretty good and robust overall. They rate these quartz movements to have about a 45-month power reserve, so before you change the battery. And their accuracy ranges between -10 to +20 seconds per month, so not too bad at all. If you actually want to operate the GMT or set the time, you have to unthread the screw down crown, which also helps it with its 200-meter water resistance rating. If you pop out the crown once, if you rotate the crown in one direction, it's going to cycle through the date. And then if you go the other way, it's going to actually jump that GMT hand. It actually sweeps quite smoothly. And then if you want to actually set your local time, you have to pull out the crown all the way. That hacks the movement. And then you can set to any local reference you want. So this is more of like a collar style GMT, because you do have to hack the movement to set your local time, but you can jump that GMT hand to any other location where you're not. Now, because this is a dive style watch, you're going to get some decent lume. They use Swiss BGW9 Super Luminova on the handset as well as the hour markers. And I have to say, it actually glows quite intensely for a fairly short period of time. It actually lasts longer on the hands than it does on the hour markers. But again, considering the price, I think they did a pretty good job. And then the last thing I'll mention is just the overall case finishing. I'm actually quite impressed again. You get some very nice horizontal brushing on the flank of the case. The crown is nicely knurled and signed with the Addiesdive logo. You have a nice polished and transitional bevel line that runs the entire flank of the case. And then the hoods of the lugs are nicely vertically brushed as well. Kind of nice polished flange or outer ring to the coin edge bezel. And then even the bracelet is done quite well with the high polished centers and fine brushwork on the outer links. So at the end of the day, I mean, if you're looking for a quartz GMT diver, I think this might be a good option for you considering what you're getting for the price point. In terms of potential points for improvement, I think they could have done a flat sapphire crystal instead of using mineral in this example. And I do wish that the bezel was bidirectional and 48 clicks instead of being a more traditional 120 click unidirectional diver's bezel. And I do know some people do not like to buy homage style watches, and that's totally okay. I think this is a great grab and go piece, especially if you already have a well-established watch collection and you just want something to throw on your wrist real quickly, or just be really active in and not worry about damaging. So I do want to thank Addiesdive for sending in this watch for the review. Please leave your feedback in the comment section of this video as well. And if you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It does help me out. So that's going to wrap up this one, and I can't wait to catch you guys in the next review.